Hopefully we've got a guitar now, and it doesn't matter whether it's electric or acoustic, same things apply. You've got the accessories, and hopefully that includes a clip-on tuner. And we need to explain some of the jargon, some of that guitar language that we're going to be using. Now, a guitar has a body, a neck, and a head. It's kind of like a giraffe-necked person, really. And the body has a top, which is often made of spruce, and it has a back and sides, which are often made of rosewood or mahogany. On the top of the body, there's a sound hole, and then there's this apparatus here, which is called the bridge. And so the bridge is where the strings are attached to the guitar body with the bridge pins. And this blade that the strings pass over, which is often made of plastic, is called the saddle. And now attached to the guitar body is the neck, and on top of the neck is the fretboard or fingerboard, and these metal bars that go across it are known as frets. And normally there's a dot just before the 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th and 12th frets. There are usually 2 dots at the 12th fret. We'll go into why that is later, but these help you to count and to know where you are. It's different on different guitars. Now, on the head of the guitar, the strings are passed around the tuning pegs, which are part of the whole machine head apparatus, and these are used for tensioning and slackening the strings, which makes the note lower and higher. The tighter the string, the higher the note, the slacker the string, the lower the note. And this white, often plastic blade, where the strings pass from the fingerboard to the head, this is known as the nut, N-U-T. Now, the thinnest string is called the first string or the top string, even though it's physically at the bottom when you hold the guitar, and that's because it's the top note or the highest in pitch. And in the same way, the thickest string is known as the bass string or the bottom string, even though it's physically at the top when you hold the guitar, because it produces the lowest note. And so we have the string numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or first string, second string, third, fourth, fifth and sixth strings. Now, electric guitar players, I haven't forgotten about you, but everything we've been saying about the acoustic guitar applies to the electric, with just 2 main differences. And the first difference is in the body. It's not a hollow body with a sound hole. It's much thinner. This is a solid piece of wood, and the sound is produced by electronically by these magnetic pickups and transmitted to an amplifier. That's the first difference. And the second difference is the saddle, the bridge, and the saddles in particular. Now, instead of one blade that we have on the acoustic guitar, each string has its own separate saddle, and these are adjustable for height and also adjustable for length. To change the length of the string, you can screw them back and forward. This helps you to set up your guitar, get what's called the intonation correct, so that as you play higher up the neck, which you tend to do on electric, your guitar stays in tune. I will talk about how to set up your guitar in a later video. Anyway, I'll just finish by saying there's a lot more to know about strings. but we'll look into that later, especially when we look at how to change strings. And I want to say they don't last very long. You know, people have them on for years, but a couple of months is really as long as you can get out of a set of strings without they start to sound rather dull. So if yours are older than that, and they probably are, then you need to change them. So check out the string changing video a little later in the series. Now, as far as tuning's concerned, exactly the same thing applies, whether it's acoustic or electric, whatever sort of guitar you've got. And in the second part of this video, we're going to have a look at how to use a clip-on tuner to get your guitar in tune. Okay, well, let's tune up. Now, hopefully you've got a clip-on tuner by now, so you put that on the head of your guitar and switch it on. Now, I'm using an old model here. It's a bit worn out, but just to illustrate the sort of things that you can find on a tuner. It all depends what model you have, but it might be possible to keep pressing the button and cycle through little numbers at the bottom of the screen. You can see there's a C, G for guitar, B for bass, V for violin, U for ukulele. Now you might think you want to pick G for guitar, but it's not always a good idea. Sometimes if the guitar's a long way out of tune, it's only going to look for the 5 notes. 2 of the strings are E on a guitar, so it's only going to look for one of those 5 notes. And if it's a long way away, they can get confused. What's better, and actually teaches you something, is to set it on C, which stands for chromatic, which just means that it will show you whatever note is being played. Now, the tuner may also show you a little 3-figure number at the bottom of the screen. They don't all do this, but if it does, then that will usually cycle through with button presses from 430 up to 450, and it'll go around again. You want to set it on 440. That's 440 megahertz. In other words, it's the frequency, a vibration of an A string. It's what orchestras tune to. So you need to set it at 440, and that means that your guitar will not just be in tune with itself, but it will also be in tune with other instruments and with recorded music. And your guitar will go out of tune. It's made of metal, it's made of wood, it responds to temperature and humidity. The tuning changes all the time, even between songs. So you keep your tuner on the head of your guitar, make sure it's set to C and 440, and keep checking your tune. Now, all you have to remember is that the notes follow the alphabet A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So if you're trying to tune your A string and it's showing D, then you need to tighten the string D and raise the note up to the next letter in the alphabet, which is E. And in the same way, if your tune is showing F, then you've gone too far. And you need to tune back down again to the letter of the alphabet before F, which is E. So if you know your alphabet, it's very easy. So now you can tune up, but the eagle-eyed among you will have spotted this. A lot of tuners will show a little hash sign after a note name. So you might get D hash, for example. And that hash means a sharp. In other words, it's not D, it's D sharp. Very rarely a tuner will show a small letter B after the note name, which means flat. So a large B followed by a small b would mean B flat. Now, these hashes and Bs can be quite small, so you have to look for them carefully. And if that's what's showing, what do? Well, when we speak about things, we talk about sharpening them up and flattening them down. We don't say sharpen down and flatten up. So a D sharp is up from a D. So if you want to tune to D, you'd have to turn it back down again. Now we need to study this diagram, so take a screenshot of it and print it or draw one out yourself. I'm sorry, I don't have the equipment or the skills, to be honest, to do downloadable PDFs and so on. But imagine that the guitar is standing straight up vertically in front of you with the strings facing towards you, and you see the thick E string is on the left and the thin top E string is on the right. These are the notes that are produced by the strings as when you play them just open without any fingering. It's E, A, D, G, B and E. Now a good way to remember the note that each string needs to be tuned to is to use an acronym. One that I usually use is elephants and donkeys grow big ears. So that's going left to right or bass string to high thin top string. Elephants and donkeys grow big ears. Sometimes the children like Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. Or if you want a bit more intellectual one, you can have every amateur does get better eventually. But we'll use elephants and donkeys grow big ears. So that's what you need to tune each string to. And we'll just finish with a few tips about how to actually tune accurately. Okay, well, we've got our guitar, we've got the tuner on. Now, what we want to do is pluck the string somewhere in the middle over the sound hole's a good place. Don't use a pick, just use the fleshy part of your thumb. You can get overtones from a pick. And you can see we want to get that little line right in the middle. If it's red on this side, it's too low. If it's red on that side, it's too high. You want to try and get the line right in the middle, showing an E note. Now, when you play the note, as it decays, it goes flat. So what we want is we want the note immediately we've played it. So keep plucking it like this. Keep a fresh note going to your tuner all the time. And sneak up on it. There we go. Okay. And the other thing is, always tune up, don't tune down. If I tune down to my E note, perfectly in tune, but if I then give the string a pull, play it again, it's gone flat. And that's because when you tune down, you leave a little bit of slack string in the mechanism here, and it slides through the slot in the nut, and it lets your string relax and stretch and go flat. So always tune up. People will say, well, what if my note's too high? I've got to tune down. Well, tune down below the note and then tune back up to it again. That way you're putting tension on the string and taking all the slack out of the mechanism here. So always tune up, don't tune down. So we do that for each string. Now that one's high, so I'm tuning down, tuning back up again. That's my D, elephants and donkeys. Grow. Make sure you get the right tuning peg, look where the string goes. You might be turning this one, playing that one, and you'll end up snapping the string. That one's a bit high as well, G, tune down, back up again. The B string, just about right. And my top A string is just about right, so there we go. And that's your guitar in tune, and we're ready to play. Now I have to end this video with an apology. Sorry guys, I know I said we would be playing next time. I know you all want to rock, but now that I look at how long the video is, I don't think we should go any further. That's quite a lot to take in. If you're a complete beginner and you don't know anything about music, if you've already been involved in music, then okay, you might know some of that. But you've got to remember this is for absolute beginners. So I'm just going to leave it there. We will actually start playing things next time on a scope. But it's an important subject, tuning up, and I did it very quickly, but you'll find it takes you a lot longer. It's a skill. It's something you need to practice like everything else. So just have a go at that. Be patient. The next video won't be very long, and we'll be playing soon enough. Okay. So take care. God bless. See you next time.